Call this meeting of June 27th, Paducah City Commission to order. Obviously, I'm not Mayor Harless. She is out of town and with a UNESCO trip, so I'm filling in for tonight. So welcome everyone for being here tonight. We thank you. First of all, we'll have the roll call.
Commissioner Abraham.
Present.
Commissioner Holland.
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Here.
Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Mayor Harless.
Okay, next we will have the invocation, and since we are approving our budget for tonight, it only seems right for our City Finance Director, Jonathan Perkins, to lead us in that invocation. And then I have asked our Paducah ambassadors, Marty and Cheryl Bendick, if they would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if everyone would please stand.
Would you pray with me? Father, thank you for the beautiful day you've given us. We just appreciate wonderful weather, puts it all in perspective and from cold and hot. Father, I pray that you'll give us wisdom in all that we do, and I pray that kindness will prevail. I pray you'll give us the intelligence to do what's right in your eyes. In Yeshua's holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Marty and Cheryl, if you would stay just one more second, we have a special award for you tonight. So it's a duo award for the two of you for how much that we appreciate all that you two do every week when we're meeting, for you all to be here with us, to be our door greeters, to take care of the order of the meeting. And on behalf of the city, we have the Mayor's Award of Merit, City of Paducah, Kentucky. And I'm sorry that Mayor Harless is not here, but she will join in on this and when she's back. But presented to Martin Bendick Jr. and Cheryl Bendick, 2017. And also, I understand that Marty is already a Duke of Paducah.
No, Cheryl is. I was already a Duchess.
Okay, you're already, they're both in here. So, but tonight, we're going to make Marty a Duke of Paducah. So we call you a lot of names, but from now on, I'll be Duke Bendick.
Thank you so much. I'm not usually short on words, but I hope the tears in my eyes show the gratitude for what I feel tonight for everybody. I really do appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. I have the special award. I just want to read it. To all to whom these presents shall come, greeting, know ye that Martin Bendick Jr. is now a Duke of Paducah. We hereby confirm this honor with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining, and testimony whereof we have caused these letters to be made patent in the seal of the city to be hereunto affixed. Signed by Mayor Harless, June 27th. And
Should we take a picture? Let's all take a picture. You know I love the pictures, y'all.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad I got to be the one to present that to you. Out. Two.
I have rubbed it into pen since 1993.
That I'm a Duchess.
Thank you so much.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I know, I got tears in my eyes.
Your face when they said Award of Merit was like, your face when they said the Award of Merit was like, oh, which I know.
Thank you. Charlie, you do. We really appreciate it.
Oh, wait, one more, Richard.
Sorry. That's okay. It's good enough.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations.
Well, you brought yours now.
City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
There are none, Madam Pro Tem.
Okay. At this time, I am going to move for suspension of the rules to rearrange the agenda a little bit so that some of our guests can speak first. I need to make that motion first. So I move that the rules for conducting city commission meetings be suspended insofar as they are in conflict with the printed agenda for this meeting. Otherwise, the rules are to remain in full force and effect.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson?
Aye. And we do have a group that has a representative that would like to speak for us to us tonight. And Craig Kane, 140 Shenwell Lane, Benton, Kentucky. You'd like to address the City Commission. I think we talked a little bit before about keeping it timely. Please, at the mic. Thank you.
Thank you for moving us up in the meeting. I don't know what happened, but I do appreciate being able to come up. I know y'all have some business to take care of. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet. My name, of course, is Craig Kane, and I'd like to say I'm a descendant of an American veteran that served the Confederacy in 1861. I'm not here for debate tonight. I'm here simply to address the resolution adopted by the Board of Commissioners May the 16th, 2017, in reference to the Veterans Day Parade that we've attended for the past 5 years without any problem at all. I'm here to request a definition of this resolution that you signed as a commission. Who's it designed to keep out of the parade? The flag, the float, the organization? Or do we need to accept the definition of the Paducah Sun in this resolution? And I'll address all of you or one of your choice. I would just like an answer.
Can I say, have you been to the Veterans Day Parade Committee with your questions?
No, I have not.
Okay, I think that might be the appropriate committee to address your concerns.
Without getting into a debate, I felt like when the city agreed to the resolution, okay, in my eyes, then it become the city. I mean, it's the city council. When the city council backed a decision, a resolution formed by this parade committee, I mean, who runs the city? You know, I mean, is it the parade committee or is it the city council? I'm looking for a definition to the resolution. That's all I'm doing. The only definition that we had is very vague as far as the resolution goes, unless we look at the Paducah Sun, and then it's clear as a bell. Now, if y'all agree that the resolution that the Paducah Sun is printed, that's the way it's written and that's the way we need to look at it, that we're not allowed in the Veterans Day Parade, then my answer's been made. Other than that, I expect an answer tonight from the commission.
Well, I think the question isn't who runs the city. The question is who runs the parade.
Okay.
And the people who run the parade sit on the Veterans Day Parade Committee. They host the parade and they run the parade. I'd be happy to attend the committee meeting where you guys go and have these concerns, if that's what you want representation from the city there. But the question about who runs the parade is the Veterans Day Committee. So questions about the resolution should be directed to the Veterans Day Parade Committee.
But the commission signed the resolution.
Yes, the resolution that came from the Veterans Day Parade Committee.
And you can't define a resolution that you signed.
Well, I think that since the Veterans Day Parade Committee formed the resolution and support the parade, and it's their intent, it's sort of original intent when you're interpreting the legislation, and the original intent came from the Veterans Day Parade, not from us.
So you're saying that you signed a resolution that you cannot define. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No.
I think that the interpretation of the definition comes from the people that formed the resolution, and that was the Veterans Day Parade Committee. And I think it's their intent that's important, because they're the ones that host the parade.
Okay. You have brought a question to us tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't think any of us, we expected that question. We're prepared to answer it tonight.
Okay.
But we can provide something to you. I would follow up with suggesting that you also go to the Veterans Day Parade first. That's where part of that information came from. I quite frankly am not sure what you're reporting to, what's printed in the Paducah Sun, other than the coverage of our meeting that night.
The Paducah Sun And I've got a lot of stuff here, y'all, and I didn't want to take up your time with this. But as far as the Paducah Sun's concerned, the 2-page article that the Paducah Sun put in, they define your resolution, okay? Confederate flag prompts update to city parade policy. In the aftermath of the Confederate parade presence last year, which included flags and a float, the Paducah Veterans Day Committee crafted a resolution affirming its position that parade participants be limited to groups who represent veterans of the United States Armed Forces.
So you're talking about the coverage that was in the Paducah Sun when you talk
I
about
am.
their
I am.
definition. That's their
And-
definition of from the coverage.
So you disagree with the
I'm
Paducah
not
Sun's?
saying that. I'm saying that's what you're referring to.
Yes, ma'am.
And what I'm saying, the best source to work through a definition is the people who intend the resolution, whose intention it was when writing the resolution. I think that's a good place to start. If, like I said, if you want a city commissioner there, I'm happy to attend that meeting. But I think with regards to the intent behind the resolution and the parade that they want, then you should go to the Veterans Day Parade Committee, because they're the ones that host the parade. And just because they ask for our support doesn't mean that we should
Know what you're signing?
No.
exceed the line of command. Sort of, you're sort of jumping, right?
Excuse me?
You're sort of jumping the the chain of command. I mean, they wrote the resolution.
I
They're in
wouldn't
charge of
think
the
that I'm-
parade.
they
So if
wrote-
you're concerned
they
with
wrote-
regards, excuse me, if you're in charge
I'm sorry.
with regards to the parade, then I think they're a good place to start. If you don't get the answer that you want from the Veterans Day Parade Committee, then please.
This is a draft of the resolution. Okay, this is what they wrote. This is the resolution that y'all wrote and signed. This is the resolution that I want the definition for, not the draft.
Is there a reason that your concern with our resolution is more important than the people who host the parade? If
I
your
thought-
concern is the participation in a parade, I'm a little confused as why you don't want to talk to the people who host the parade.
Well, the people that I've talked to in the community, they're confused about what they're reading in the Paducah Sun and the outcome of all of this.
Well, we
And
don't have any control over the Paducah Sun.
So
Mike,
I'm just.
go ahead.
Again, thank you for coming tonight and bringing that to us. It's a question that you've presented tonight.
Right,
The city manager has said that he will prepare an answer for you.
that will be acceptable.
Meanwhile, I also would recommend that you talk to the committee, the Veterans Day Committee, and we will respond to you.
Absolutely. I have no problem talking to the Veterans Day Committee at all. Out of respect to the city commission that signed this resolution, that's why I came here.
I guess my question is, though, that your concern is participation in the parade.
My concern is we're not going to be allowed to honor our ancestors because of the way it is perceived, written, when our ancestors are American veterans, recognized in 1958 by Congress.
Well, you don't want to get into debate, neither
I
do
do not want to get into a debate.
But-
We're
no.
not going to get into a
Right,
debate
that's fine,
tonight.
that's fine.
So the city manager has said he will prepare a response to you.
Will the city manager meet with me and give me my response?
Yes.
I think that was offered to you before you came here tonight.
Okay.
Wasn't it to meet with him?
Not that I know of.
I think I was made available to meet with you in last week, but that's neither here nor there.
But that's okay. We'll be
Okay.
happy to, he'll be happy to do that.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, well, I appreciate your time tonight.
Would you
All right.
like me to come to the meeting with the Veterans Day Parade Committee? Would
Excuse
you
me?
like a representation from the City Commission at the Veterans Day
That
Committee?
would be fine.
I'm happy to attend. When you guys set up a meeting with the Veterans Day Parade Committee, I'm happy to be there.
Okay. So what do I need to do to make an appointment with you? Just call the,
Once you set it up with the Veterans Day Committee, just email me and
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Thank you.
All right.
That's good
All
enough.
right.
Thank you very
We'll-
much.
A response will be sent to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all.
Let's go, boys.
You're welcome to stay, or if you'd like to leave, whatever. It's your choice. We moved it up so you wouldn't have to. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Does anyone have any items they would like to be removed?
I do, sir, ma'am.
Okay, and what item? would you like removed?
Under new full-time fire suppression, that item,
Pulled from the personnel actions?
yes.
Okay. That will be moved to below the consent agenda. So now the city clerk will read the recommended items for approval.
Okay. Item number 1, minutes for the June 13th, 2017 City Commission meeting. Reappointment of Candace Griffin, Wayne Armbruster, and Laura Kaufman to the Civic Beautification Board. These terms shall expire July 1st, 2021. Reappointment of William Cox, Mark Davis, and Brian Carner to the Paducah Area Transit System. These terms shall expire June 30th, 2021. Reappointment of Melanie Cornu and Shirlene Holland Cooper to the Paducah McCracken County Senior Citizens Board. These terms shall expire June 30th, 2018. Further, the appointment of Bill Bone to the Paducah McCracken County Senior Citizens Board to replace J.M. Collins, whose term has expired. This term shall expire June 30th, 2020. Receive and file documents, personnel actions, a municipal order authorizing the Park Services Department to apply for a Bark for Your Park grant in the amount of $10,000 through Pet Safe brand to be used to implement irrigation and drainage measures at the dog park located in Stuart Nelson. A municipal order accepting an Our Town grant from the National Endowment for the Arts in the amount of $75,000 to be used in partnership with the Market House Theater for the Next Stage campaign. A municipal order adopting the fiscal year 2017 through 2018 pay grade schedule for the employees of the City of Paducah. A municipal order adopting the fiscal year 2017-2018 position and pay schedule for the full-time employees of the City of Paducah. And a municipal order authorizing the finance director to pay Kentucky League of Cities for workers' compensation, liability insurance, and property insurance coverage for the City of Paducah. That's all the items.
Would you call the roll?
I need a motion.
Oh, is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I so here move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson?
Aye. And I think at this time that Michael Cochran with the Market House Theater has come over to be with us and to do a little celebration almost. So would you like to make some comments, Michael?
Dance a little bit. I want to thank the city and Cheryl Chino, who worked with us so closely on developing this grant application. We've applied a couple times in the past, and it is a long process to do this. And Cheryl was great to work with and really helped us out. And also I want to thank the Chamber for all the visits that went to DC, to the NEA offices to talk about what Paducah was doing. It was a real team effort to get this. And the theater is incredibly excited to get one of the first NEA grants like this, and one of the largest NEA grants of this Our Town grant in the country for organizations like
Awesome.
us. So
That's
we're thrilled
great.
with that. We've raised $2.3 million so far towards a $5 million campaign, and this $75,000 we will match, and it'll be used for design funds, and that will help us with the historic preservation and renovation of 10 buildings. That's 44,000 square feet in downtown Paducah
Wow.
that we're working on.
Well, thank you for all the work that the Market House Theater is doing in our downtown area for preservation and education and entertainment. And there's probably a lot more adjectives I should use for that. But thank you for your investment in our downtown area, and we really appreciate it. And Cheryl, thank you for all of your hard work on this grant. We really, really appreciate it. So congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
I wanted to say too that on the very personal level, my child spent from 9 to 12 this morning practicing the Lion King at Market House. So I think the more investment in this amazing asset to our community, the better. And from a really, really high level, I think things like NEA grant, NEA money gets thrown around, and it's so amazing to see, like, right here in our community, the good that money is doing.
Well, we have about, on a busy week like we are right now, we have about 2,000 visits to downtown Paducah from Market House Theater activity, of people coming down
I drive
for
down there all the
classes,
time.
rehearsals, and then they spend time in Kirchhoffs and et
Yeah.
cetera, and all the other places. So
Yeah,
we're really
the
proud.
post-rehearsal cookie run. I'm
Yeah, there you
familiar.
go.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you
the
so
time to
much.
come over tonight, too. We
Thank you.
appreciate it, and congratulations. So, and now that I can see the room, I'm seeing all of the red blazers in the room. So welcome. Thank you for being here. Making me kind of nervous.
I think they were here for Martin and Cheryl's.
Were you here for our earlier presentation? Yes. You want us to reenact it? Yes. Where are Marty and Cheryl? Marty and Cheryl.
We're going to do a redo.
Well, someone. I know I'm going out of order. Anybody gonna slap my hand?
No.
No,
Are you good?
it's just still millions of people watching at home, Sandra.
You're doing fine, Sandra.
So, Marty and Cheryl, now that you're back in here in the room in front of all of the other Paducah ambassadors, we just want to say again, thank you for your leadership with the Paducah ambassadors. Thank you for all that you do for our city. And specifically, thank you for what you do to help the City Commission run smoothly in being at our meetings and greeting our visitors for our meetings. And we really appreciate everything that you've done. So thank you all for being here. I'm sorry you missed it. We went with them very first, and I didn't notice at the time that you all had not shown up. But when I saw you here, I kind of thought, there's a reason why they're all here
I'm
tonight.
sure they'll show you their award of merit to make you
So,
super jealous.
thank you. I think Marty was speechless almost.
I know, I'd give anything if I had a photo of his face when he said that.
We've just reenacted it, so we'll reenact it one more time. Thank you, Marty and Cheryl. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all for letting us
that's
stay
good.
here for so long. We kept waiting for you to throw us out. It didn't happen, and so we just sort of just stayed, but we have really enjoyed it, learned a lot, and hope we made some friendships.
Good. Well, you're not going anywhere. We're just this is just special recognition for tonight. So thank you, and thank you to all the Paducah ambassadors for all you do. We have a lot of exciting events going on in our community coming up, and we're going to be seeing you and working you hard to be everywhere. And it's always great to see your smiling faces everywhere we are. So thank you for all that you do for everyone. So thank you. Okay, now we'll move on with our meeting. And Commissioner Abraham, you have asked that fire suppression be removed from the agenda. Do you have any motion?
Comments first. The sequence of events are as follows.
Well, I'm just going to say if it gets into personnel issues, that we would probably need a recommendation to go into executive session.
I understand
Okay.
how it works. This particular item was brought to my attention, and I felt that because of the calls that I had, that we should talk about this as a group, as a board. Typically, what happens in situations like this is that the item is pulled prior to the meeting. As recent as our as recent as a couple of months ago, when we were looking at rezoning Pecan Drive, we were ready to go with it, and it was pulled. Needed more information, needed more conversation, and that's fine. we look at this situation as the same. A conversation with the city manager was he threw a couple of options out there, and that wasn't the option that we wanted to take. We wanted the entire board together to discuss whatever we need. Now, understand, this is a conversation. This isn't either left or right. This is a conversation that would be granted to a member of this board. The bottom line was this. I asked the city manager if he would pull it. He said no. I said, you could pull it if you want to. He said yes. So this is why I'm doing this right here, because he refused to pull it, even though he could. When we bring issues to the table, whether it's any of us up here as elected officials, you are not just representing Mayor Pro Tem Wilson or City Commissioner Rhodes or Richard Abraham. You are bringing the voice of the folks that voted for you. So even if there's one commissioner that has a concern and would want an audience with the entire elected officials who represents the city to discuss it. Now, after the discussion, we come out, we vote the way we vote, and everyone goes home. That's fine. But for that professional courtesy not to be extended is somewhat troubling, which makes this whole situation a little bit more concerning as it is. So moving forward from this point, I would like to make a motion that this piece of the personnel agenda be tabled until the next commission meeting, when the entire board is here to discuss it.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
When do we have
Okay.
discussion?
Is there a second?
Wait, I have a question. When do we do discussion?
After it's seconded, I believe.
Sorry.
Is there a second? There's no second.
That's fine.
Okay. So then, do we have a motion to vote on that item from the city clerk to the,
Now it comes before the commission. If they want to bring it up for a vote, then someone needs to make a motion that they want to proceed.
okay, is there a motion to proceed with that position that was previously removed from?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Well, other than what I've just said, are we going back into discussion now?
Yeah, 'cause I'd actually like to say something if you don't mind,
Yeah, no,
So to what you're saying.
no.
I just wanted to clarify that, with the zoning issue, my read on that was the mayor brought it before the commission in public, just like you're doing, which I think is wholly appropriate and important, and had the support of the commission to postpone it. So I think that I have a preference for that to be done at the public meeting, not at the city manager level. And that's what happened at the zoning, and that's what's happening here. That's my only clarification is, I think it is appropriate for commissioners to say, I want to table this if they have the support of the rest of the commission. I just think that needs to be done in the public meeting, not before the meeting with the city manager. Does that make sense? Not with regard to the consent agenda. I don't care I think anybody should pull anything off the consent agenda at any time. But once it's off the consent agenda, if you want to postpone it, I think that should be public in the meeting that we're postponing. Does that make sense? There's a clarification I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Right, exactly.
This is what we're doing.
I will say, I do believe on the planning, what you referenced was made in the public meeting too. It was not pulled with one person pulling it ahead of time.
Well,
So,
we can agree to disagree on the fact that, again, we are elected to serve at the pleasure of the citizens of the city. So again, when we're here, and if there's an issue on the table that let's say it's not me, let's say it's Alan, and he wants to talk about it, Okay, he may not have the votes to do whatever to pass it. He may be the only one, but because he is elected, then grant him that audience with the elected body to hear what he has to say. That is a courtesy that I think we all understood when we ran on that, because we hear a lot of that during campaign. I want to be your voice. You're not downtown. I want you to be, I'm going to speak for you. And so when a situation comes up, and I might add this, this is really infrequent. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. I've been down here a long time, and maybe once this has come up, which is even more important. I understand how important this is. This is why I'm bringing it the way I'm bringing it. So if the...
Wait, I'm sorry, can I ask, what only once has come up? A personnel issue or the issue with pulling something? I'm sorry, I'm not confused about what you're referencing. Doesn't happen. Right?
Oh, this is a personnel issue.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Sorry. Just want to make sure.
That's okay.
I mean, I think that if you want to make a motion for discussion right now, that's different.
Well, I was just asking if we could make a motion to go into executive
Yeah,
session.
that, I don't, yeah.
Well, this one's on the table,
We
so
have to table it, or, don't ask me.
Understand, let's just be clear. We're short one member.
But that could happen at any time.
I mean,
Oh, I understand that.
well,
I understand that.
Business has to go on. We have a quorum, and business has to go on.
Well, let's do business.
So what?
Are you want to
do
pull the vote,
make a
for the
mo-
ready for the vote? Or I was
Well-
trying to see if we could go into executive session to discuss the issues that you want to discuss.
With the full board. But the
This
full
is the
board's
full
not
board
here.
tonight.
Well, with all elected officials here. That's not here, so let's move on.
I don't think that we can, every time that there's a commissioner not here, when I have to miss, I understand that you're going to go, that as a Board of Commissioners, you're going on with the business of the city. That's what we were elected to do.
Well, I understand that.
And we all represent voters. We all understand that role.
And sometimes,
Okay, so what, I mean, you're not telling me anything I don't already know, so.
Same.
so let's,
So we can either vote on this, or
So let's
I was
vote on this.
exploring an option to go into executive session to discuss what you wanted to discuss.
because you said that the issue was you really wanted you want to feel that the people are represented. But I think, if the issue is, I'm not even assuming, I know for a fact that the mayor has talked to every single one of us about this issue, so it's not like we haven't had a chance to share our concerns with the person who's not here tonight. So if the issue is you want to have further discussion with the people here.
Well, it's either this, we can either look at going into executive discussion and discussing it with who's here tonight, or we can proceed with a vote.
Well, since Mayor Hollis is not here, and I spoke with her also, and that's the option that you're giving me, and what I'm asking for is to postpone it. Don't understand the rush on this particular item, which is somewhat even more curious. But we will move on, we will do business, we will take the vote.
okay.
Okay, I was giving you an option for executive session.
I understand what you were offering.
Okay.
Commissioner
I
Abraham,
recuse myself from it.
Commissioner Holland,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay, Commissioner Abraham, you have the first ordinance adoption for the 2017-2018 budget.
I do. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting the City of Paducah, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. This ordinance is summarized as follows: adopting the City of Paducah annual budget for fiscal year July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government at $84,716,885 and summarized by the funds as follows: general, funds. Appropriations, $34,403,310. MAP, $1,829,350. Investments, $5,447,540. CDBG, $1,220,000. E911, $1,788,690. Court awards, $32,750. Debt, $3,762,755. CIP, $11,304,320. Bond fund, $7,500,000. Solid waste, $6,009,180. Transit boat dock, $21,430. Civic Center, $92,195. Rental, $132,220. Radio DEPR, $933,420. Fleet, $595,295. Fleet Trust, $3,178,000. Self-insurance, $1,317,185. Health insurance, $3,767,000. And AEPF, PFTR, STS, $1,382,445, totaling $84,716,885.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have previously discussed this at our introduction meeting. Do you have a question you'd like to ask tonight?
I just want to, I guess I could wait till the city commissioner or the city manager's comments if you'd like me to.
You
Go
got
ahead.
the floor.
All right. Well, I just wanted to check and see if there's been any additional updates on the position we discussed at the budget meeting.
I recall from last meeting that it was left that I would have something to you by August. So amongst the things that have occurred in the 2 weeks since it was last discussed would be review of similar position descriptions and summaries that we're able to find out there in the market, and also a discussion that I had with the mayor, and I think it was her intention to get with each of you after she returns to collectively identify what the outcomes are that you want from the position. So that's proceeding.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Any other comments? City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham.
Aye.
Commissioner Holland.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Commissioner Holland, please.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Sections 2-644 and 2-660 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paducah, Kentucky. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance amends Chapter 2, Section 2-644, Written Procurement Determinations, and 2-660, Small Purchase Plan of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paducah, Kentucky. This ordinance is being enacted to remove the dollar threshold and additional procedural language for written procurement determination and to amend the small purchase plan for the purpose of housing internal purchasing procedures for purchases less than $20,000 within the Administrative Policies and Procedures Manual.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? City Clerk?
Commissioner Abraham.
Aye.
Commissioner Holland.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Commissioner Rhodes, please.
I guess I could read real slowly.
No.
I'll put marbles in my mouth. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, amending Chapter 42 of the Paducah Code of Ordinances entitled Code Enforcement Board. This ordinance is summarized as follows. In December 2016, the City of Paducah adopted a total revision of Chapter 42, Sections 1 through 100 of the City of Paducah Code of Ordinances in its entirety. The replacement needs further revisions, some additions, and modification. Modifications include, but are not limited to, Sections 42, 43, Ordinance Fine Schedule, and Section 42 through 44, liens, fines, charges, abatement costs, fees, penalties, attorney's fees, and costs, which will be published in full accordance with the Kentucky Revised Statute. These changes to Section 4243 and Section 4244 are summarized as follows. Section 4243, Section A shall be amended to state that each occurrence of abandoned vehicles and appliances, grass, weeds, litter, solid waste, and other nuisances shall be a fine of $100. And Section 4243, subset B, shall be amended to state, if the citation is contested and a hearing before the Code Enforcement Board is required, the penalties may be doubled at the discretion of the board per inspection, not to exceed the value of the property as recorded by the property value administrator. Section 4244 shall be amended to add the subsection G, which will state the provisions of this article shall be enforced in the same manner as other violations of this code. Any person violating any of the provisions of this article shall be deemed guilty of a Class B misdemeanor and, upon conviction thereof, shall receive a fine not to exceed $250 or a jail sentence not to exceed 90 days for each offense. Each day that such violation continues shall constitute a separate offense. This article and foregoing penalties shall not be construed to limit or deny the right of the city or any person to such equitable legal remedies as may be available by law.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? City Clerk? Call the roll.
Who seconded that? Rhodes?
Commissioner Abraham.
Okay.
I read it.
Lost my train of thought. I was getting the last word there. Commissioner Abraham?
Aye.
Commissioner Holland?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson?
Aye. So we'll move into our ordinance. It's an introduction. I've been driving around this looking for it.
Yeah, too.
The first ordinance in direct introduction, Commissioner Abraham.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance providing for the closing of a portion of an alley from Kentucky Avenue to the alley originating at Marine Way and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah does hereby authorize the closing of the brick paved portion of an alley from Kentucky Avenue to the alley originating at Marine Way and authorizes, empowers, and directs the mayor to execute a quick claim deed from the city to the property owners in or abutting the public way to be closed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, sorry. I was looking at the picture on my phone.
So I'm looking at the picture.
Okay.
Can you describe it to us? And-
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem and Commission and City Manager. If you're on Kentucky Avenue in the 200 block, if you're right there across, I think, the music store there, if you just stand.
1857 Hotel.
Yeah, that brick alley right beside there is actually publicly owned.
Okay.
And that is the alley.
On which side? On the side of the music store or
No,
on
on
No,
the side?
looking at the
That's
music
why I was
store,
confused.
music store at your back,
Yeah.
store at your back, and you're looking at the 1857 and the brick alley beside.
that's what I
it.
thought.
I thought we
That's
were on
it.
the
That
other side
one.
of the street, that's why I was.
So
And
we'll-
we're only closing it from Kentucky Avenue to the rear property line. That's an L-shaped alley, and the alley that is behind those stores, Finkel's and the 1857, that will remain open. It's just the brick alley on the side of the
Well, what
1857.
does closing it entail?
Actually, the adjacent property owners wish to improve it into an outdoor area that will accent that property, and they're going to maintain the historic integrity of that.
Because they have those doors that raise.
So the
right there.
owners are in agreement with this and
Actually, the owners are the
Jorge
applicant.
and Paul.
Yeah,
They-
they're
okay.
the applicant.
Okay.
But I mean,
for
like,
that.
are you going to change the curb so that people don't pull in? Are they going to put planters? Do you know?
Actually, we've talked about that as far as the use of the property. They will plan on, behind the sidewalk, they plan on building a fence across there or a gate and have a pergola over that and create a real attractive outdoor space for that. And then in the event that they do need to access, come in and about because of events, they can open those gates, get their supplies or get their setups in and out on that. So it's a oiled machine for
Well, and we're not
what that
worried about
vision
because there's
is.
the curb there, people pulling in even with.
No, they will not be able to do that because there'll be a gate there.
Okay.
And I've talked to the applicants about that, and I'm saying, you might want to consider these things, but you know how you want to use the space. It's not something that is really used publicly for that purpose because of its, access in the rear. We have a dumpster back there. The parking lot to the Four River Center is back there, but it's an excellent use for that property.
So people will be able to walk through there?
Yes, ma'am.
It's just not driving?
Yes,
So no other neighbors are objecting to it because it's all the back of their properties?
Exactly. The adjacent property owners have signed off on that, and that would be, and I guess I got the,
Distinctive.
Paul Gower and Keith Mert have also signed off on, they're the adjacent property owners.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, probably need to stay up there.
I got 3 of these, or 3 more.
Okay. Commissioner Holland, you have the next one.
Did we vote on that one? Oh, no, it's just
No,
an ordinance
it's
direction, sorry. I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled an ordinance providing for the closure of an alley between the 2054 and 2062 Broad Street and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents relating to the same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah does hereby authorize the closure of a 15-foot alley between 2054 and 2062 Broad Street and authorizes, empowers, and directs the mayor to execute a quick claim deed from the city to the property owners in or abutting the public ways to be closed.
Second.
So do you want to explain a little bit more about where that is and why?
Okay. If you're familiar with Broad Street, you have Brown and Broad that intersect. When we take a left and we head toward downtown, you'll notice that there's an open field to the right of Broad Street. I don't like giving, free advertisement, but I guess if I give landmarks, you all know where you're at.
Yeah.
But if you turn on to Broad Street at Old Bait House, they have a big vacant lot, and then there's a long area there, and then there's a residence there. There's actually an old alley that goes back to Island Creek, and then it turns and goes behind those houses. We have an applicant that we don't use that alley. It's an unimproved alley, and we don't intend on using it. And we have an applicant that wishes to have that closed because they want to expand their property, because they wish to build an apartment back there in the back. They're expanding their garage and building. And actually, during the course of them, they're exploring this, they discovered that their garage was physically in the alley. And then they came to my office, and I pointed this out to them that maybe they wish to explore this. They've gone through the process. They've got the signatures, and then it's in front of you all. We do not have a vested interest in the property. It's just a lot of your public ways that were established in Paducah. We're establishing a grid-like system without the thought of when they would be developed, and this has never been developed. So we've agreed with this application and put it before you this evening.
Any other questions? Okay. Commissioner Rhodes, the next one.
Yes, ma'am. I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled an ordinance providing for the closure of an alley between Ohio Street to the 16.5-foot alley between South 11th Street to South 12th Street and authorize the mayor to execute all documents relating to the same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah does hereby authorize the closure of a 16-foot alley between Ohio Street to the 16.5-foot alley between South 11th and South 12th Streets and city streets and authorizes, empowers, and directs the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed from the city to the property owners in the abutting of the public ways to be closed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Next
So-
one.
Are you ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That was a similar situation, and again, these are alleys that we're not using and that they would be best used in the public's hands, or excuse me, the private sector's hands rather than the public's hands, because we don't have an intended use for this alley.
Okay. Any other comments? And finally, Commissioner Abraham, the last closure.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance providing for the closure of 2 alleys bordering by Maggie Street and Urban Cobb Drive, Locust Drive, and Bridge Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents relating to same. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah does hereby authorize the closure of a, was that 16-foot?
Yes.
Unimproved alley and a 12-foot unimproved alley between Bridge Street, Locust Street, Maggie Street, and Urban Cobb Drive, and authorizes, empowers, and direct the mayor to execute a quick claim deed from the city to the property owners in or abutting the public ways to be closed.
Second.
Okay, Rick?
To familiarize yourself with this area, Bridge Street, Locust, and the Beltline Highway, as we refer to, or Urban Cobb. You'll recall in the past, there's the hotel, the old hotel that's out there that's kind of in need of some attention. Just beyond that hotel, there was an auto auction lot. Okay, that auto auction lot is no more an auto auction lot. It is now being turned into a business where you have rental equipment, like you rent backhoes, track hoes, and that kind of stuff. So it's taking a piece of property, turning it into, you know, something that will be more viable for Paducah. And a lot, I didn't realize it until they brought it to my attention, but within that lot, there was an alley that went through the lot. They were wanting to improve their structures, and we directed them, you need to close this lot, and we don't have any use for that. So that's what the applicant has done to make better use of that property. So, and I apologize, these came in a wave.
All good things.
Yeah, but it's good for us because it's taking properties that we're not using them and turning them into profitable tax base for us. So
It's nice to see
Thank you.
Aztec
Great.
improving their business. Aztec Rentals, which is in front of Lowe's, is now moving down the street to the old, as we used to call it, the Paducah Junk Sale.
Thanks for all your hard work on it.
thank you. Thank you.
So we will not be meeting next Tuesday night because we're all going to be at the riverfront. And I was going to ask Mark Thompson to come up and talk about 4th of July, but Jeff said he had planned to do that, but he let me do it. So Mark, would you come up and just give us an overview of what's going to be taking place next Tuesday night, where we hope everyone's there and enjoying themselves?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. Molly Johnson asked me to make sure that I didn't miss anything because we've got a whole passel full of activities going on down at the riverfront. We're starting closed streets at 2 o'clock, so people need to inside, and so we'll create our perimeter with everything that's going on Broadway and inside on Water Street and down on the riverfront. First things that are going to happen are the vendors. The food vendors are actually going to be on Water Street to give people a little more room down on the riverfront so people can walk on the sidewalks and that sort of thing. So we moved them into the food vendors. There's 5 food vendors, I think, and 2 vendors selling materials. So they'll be all on Water Street in front of the River Heritage Museum. On the other end of Water Street, on the other side of Broadway, are the laser tag and those types of things. The mosaic this year, that everybody gets to hand paint the mosaic, which become a very family-friendly activity that's helped put on by the police department and better than ever, is called a Paducah Patchwork, bringing people together. So everybody will be able to paint and stick this onto the boards like they have for the past couple of years. On the dry side, on the Broadway, we're going to have at the gazebo, we're going to have the Paducah Jazz Ensemble and the Kids Zone on Water Street. And then we'll have some other things. Then up close to 3rd Street, we'll have Danny Grandstaff playing from 6 to 8. And the Quick Step Cloggers will be there from 8 to 9. Then we will actually start on the river with activities. Community leaders' comments start at 4 o'clock. We have the posting colors at 4:15. And then we have Marvin and Gentry, who was supposed to be down on the riverfront. We got rained out the other night. They are going to be down from 4:45 to 5:45. J.D. Shelburne will be down there from 6 to 7:30. Steve Schaffner Trio, Giardo, Classical, something will be down there. I'm having difficulty on that one. She should have given me a prompt on that one. 7:45 to 8:30, then the Paducah Concert Band. Then some young guy is going to be singing the national anthem.
The dulcet tones.
The dulcet tones of Commissioner Richard Abraham will be singing the national anthem, and fireworks at 9:15. Now, we could not do any of this without Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel, who loan us their barges, and Ingram barge who actually brings them down and puts them in place for us. Arthur Rossi will be doing the fireworks, and we'll be ready to take off and have a great 4th of July.
Okay. So I want to talk about the timing on the fireworks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just so everybody's clear. They're scheduled for 9:15.
Scheduled for 9:15.
I was with you last year when the schedule changed.
Santa
Yes.
read my mind.
Exactly,
So
9:15.
just tell us what happens. Nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen this
Nothing's
year.
going to. It's not going to rain.
Weather's going to be great, but I just want people to know.
In case there should something come up.
We keep in touch with Channel 6, and we will keep in touch with the newspaper and the radio stations, and we will let them know if there will be any delay. They won't shoot any earlier than 9:15, but there will be, if there's any sort of delay, which we have had, not just last year, but a couple of times.
So last
And
year
we
you
still
moved it
do
up.
that. We moved
there
it
was a-
back, and then we moved it
Yeah,
back
and-
to the original time because of
Well, there
some
was a thunderstorm
miscommunication.
coming and
That's
you moved
right.
it up
Correct.
earlier than what had been posted. So people just need to be aware that there's, just come on down.
Try to
Be
come on
there
down
the whole
early.
time to enjoy it.
Enjoy the vendors, enjoy the music, enjoy the mosaics, and all the kids' zone activities. Cornhole, there'll be the picture taking that we usually do. There'll be balloon tying and all that fun stuff.
And Mark
Balloon animals.
Thompson, water dunking is where?
You'd have to pick me up and throw me in the river.
Please
There may
thank-
be people who want to do that after tonight.
So thank your team. I mean, I know it's a huge production to put on, and we really appreciate it. It's a moment of
we couldn't
really
do it
great
without
pride.
the police department, fire department,
Everybody,
public works, and
yes.
everybody else.
We all work together as a team, and it's great to have that. It's a really great showcase for our city to have that on Tuesday night. So everybody will be there.
And for overflow,
15.
if you're out on the point of the new part of the park, it's going to be a great view from there too.
So people can go out on the park.
On the point,
At the
we're not
front.
going to be open on the dock. We're not open on the dock.
Don't say that word.
We're not open on the dock, but the
But-
point of the park is going to be a
park will be
great
open?
viewing site
Okay,
on the
great.
on the revetment and all of that in that area. It's going to be a great
Revetment
spot.
will be clean by that time and ready to go for that, because they're obviously with fluctuating water levels, there've been some deposits, but we're going to have.
We got a bunch of it off the other day. I mean, a heavy load.
Is it going
but
to do that every time the water rises?
I can't make a promise.
Well.
We're gonna move on
Rain
now.
side for a while.
Probably.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Water sits.
That's how long it's up.
It's up and down,
I
yes.
got you.
You're talking about the new part of the
Yes.
riverfront development. There aren't a lot of trash receptacles.
We haven't put any out there yet.
Okay, all right.
In fact, I've already talked to Rick's staff about we're going to order. We'll have some temps out there for that
Okay.
weekend.
For Tuesday night, there
Yeah.
will be. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Any other comments about Tuesday night? City
Looking forward to it.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
mention one
Thank
other
you,
thing,
Mark.
just because of the coming up of the date, and we've, of course, kept you all apprised as things have progressed about the software conversion, particularly the financial part of it, but July 1 is go live. That's coming up shortly. The last checks were written today, which I believe were payroll checks on the old system, and that doesn't sound like a lot.
I'm surprised Jonathan didn't put that in his prayer.
He has for the last many nights, I'm sure, but just a huge milestone in that project, maybe the biggest one as we go along. And again, it's come together in large measure through the efforts of a lot of people. A lot of employees have been involved through the training stages of how to use the new financial pieces of the software. And credit goes back to the original steering committee for that project. Chief Kyle, I know, was on that, John, Greg Mueller, and a few others, and of course has expanded in Michelle's role as the project manager. She's done a wonderful job. So the first big milestone will be being reached July 1, and that's cause for celebration too.
Great. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Well, some of us today were at Baptist Health to celebrate the opening of their new cancer center. It's a beautiful facility that's going to bring a lot of comfort and service to our community. So I want to congratulate Baptist Health and for the Ray and Kay Eckstein
Regional Cancer
Center.
Center.
Really
stole my-
very nice
I can't find
facility, and it was really a
was
awesome
beautiful.
thing.
I
There
was gonna say
are
something.
there's an open house there tomorrow. If you didn't get to go today at 3:00, I believe. Cancer survivors at 2, the general public at 3. So I would encourage everyone to go by. It's a beautiful facility. So congratulations to them. Thank you. Thanks to them for what they're providing to our community. Any other
You
comments?
stole mine, that's what I was going to say.
Commissioner Abraham?
Good.
Commissioner Rhodes, anyone?
I'm good.
So we addressed the audience comments earlier, so if there's nothing else, we stand adjourned.
Do you want a motion to adjourn?
We need a motion to adjourn. I'll make that motion.
Because you guys have been doing that.
Second?
Second. Aye.
Aye.
Terrific. Hey, Rick.